Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. All honor, glory, and praise is due to Yahweh, by Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahushua. I'm Brother Israel. I'm coming at y'all with some more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, Lord willing. We're going to go into the Shabbat and how to keep it. All right? So first and foremost, the Sabbath day is the seventh day of the week, Saturday. A lot of Christians, so-called Christians, they claim for the Sabbath to be on Sunday. However, if you look into your calendar, if you go into your calendar, the seventh day of the week is Saturday and not Sunday. So that itself should tell you a lot. Let's get into it. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. So, it's plain. It's printed. The Lord says, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is a holy day. It's a day of rest. I'm going to continue. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. So when it comes to the Shabbat, or the Sabbath day, the Lord's holy day, his day of rest, you can't do any work. No one within your home. Not your children, not your wife, your spouse, your husband, no one. You're not even supposed to put your animals to work. It's a day of rest for everyone within your gates, within your home. All right? It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thy own ways, nor finding thy own pleasure, nor speaking thy own words. Right, because we just read in Exodus that the seventh day of the week is a Sabbath day of rest. It's a holy day. So the Lord said you can't do your own pleasures. You can't speak your own words. And you can't do your own ways. Hey, so it's time to put the controllers down, put the sticks down. It's the time not to have wicked conversations or conversations about vanity or worldly things. It's not a time to be speaking your own words. It's not a time to be doing your own ways. It's a time to rest, to honor the Most High God, and to glorify him with your thoughts, your words, and your actions. All right, verse 14. Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. Okay, so this is prophecy. The Lord said when you keep the Shabbat and turn away from doing thy own ways and doing thy own pleasures, and doing thy own pleasures, that goes into having sex. If you're married, you can't have sex with your wife or your husband. You can't do your own pleasures on the Sabbath. Everything you do should be pleasing to the Lord. All right, not yourself, not your spouse, not your children. Your children may, bicker or complain. I want to do this, I want to do that, or I want to go out. Hey, it's the Sabbath day. It's the day of rest. If you allow it, you will be considered wicked or breaking the Sabbath day of the Lord. All right, so let's get into some of the don'ts. What you can't do on the Sabbath. Let's go to the book of Exodus. This book of Exodus, chapter 16. I'm going to start at Exodus chapter 30. Exodus chapter 35 and verse 2. 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day shall be to you an holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Lord. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death. Hey, the Lord said, if you work on his Sabbath day, on his holy day of rest, if you break this commandment, this law, he said you were to be put to death. It's fortunate, or it's a blessing that we live in the times that we living in. Back in the ancient days, in the days of old, if you were to break the Sabbath day, you would be put to death. That's how serious this day is. The Lord not playing. Verse 3. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day. Hey, so the Lord's saying you can't kindle a fire. Don't be carnal about it. You know, Jake say you can't turn your light on. You can't flip your light switch, or you can't turn your lamp on. That's not what it's talking about. When the Lord said you should kindle no fire, it's saying you can't cook. So you can't cook on the Sabbath day. So that's no baking in the oven, right? What is it? No cooking on the stove. No warming up the grill, you know, getting the choco. No microwave. Or I can just microwave it if I can't cook it on the stove. The Lord said you should kindle no fire. He's just saying you can't cook. Why? Because that's a form of work. It takes work to do these things. All right, now let's get the book of Exodus chapter 16, verse 22. Exodus chapter 16 and verse 22. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, This is that which the Lord hath said, Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth overlay up for you to be kept until the morning. Hey, so when it comes to the Shabbat, or keeping the Sabbath, the Lord said, lay up twice as much food, or gather twice as much food. You know, do your buying, your shopping, and buy twice as much food. Shop for twice as much food for the Shabbat. Why? Because you can't cook. We just read you should kindle no fire. All right. Verse 24. And they laid it up till the morning as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. Hey, so when you obey the Lord, He'll make a way for you. You know what I'm saying? He'll provide for you, sustain you. He'll even provide and sustain your food. Like he said, that which was laid up, it did not stink or have a worm, meaning it didn't spoil. So when it comes to the Shabbat, we read you can't kindle a fire. We just read that you have to do twice as much shopping or gathering as far as food for the Shabbat. Now you have to lay it up overnight. And the Lord said it will not stink. It will not have a worm, meaning it will not spoil. Because a lot of people use that excuse. If I can't cook, what I'm going to eat? I can't leave my food out. And the Lord said it won't stink, meaning He's protecting it. All right? Meaning you'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to die if the food's not hot. You know, Jake want their food steaming hot. They want their food fresh out of the skillet or fresh out of the oven. The Lord said lay it overnight and it won't stink. Meaning just be happy that you can eat. You know what I'm saying? Be grateful, be thankful that you have something to eat. All right? So although you're gathering twice as much and buying twice as much, there's a reason why you have to do it before the Shabbat. Because there's no buying and there's no selling on the Sabbath day. Let's get that in Nehemiah. This book of Nehemiah, chapter 10, verse 31. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we will not buy it of them on the Sabbath or on the holy day, and that we would leave the 7th year in the exaction of every debt. Hey, so the Lord said, if the people bring ware any victuals, you can't buy it. These people, talking about heathens, these other nations, and this is what they do on every Saturday. You know what I'm saying? They set up shop. They open the malls. They make sure their grand and great stores are open. Hey, they put the best deals and discounts out on Saturdays, the Lord's day of rest, just so Jake or you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans can spend your money and shop and buy. The Lord said we should not buy them. All right? Let's jump to chapter 13. Nehemiah chapter 13 and verse 15. In those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves, and ladding asses. Shalakia. As also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testify against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. Verse 16. There dwelt men in Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah in Jerusalem. Hey, so that's what's going on. They got the children of Israel breaking the Shabbat, breaking the Sabbath day. It's the 7th day of the week. They setting up shop. What they bring in wine, grapes, figs, and all manner of burdens. They ready to do some selling. They ready to take your money. You know what I'm saying? They ready to make a living off you so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The Lord said, if they bring anywhere, you should not buy of them. But Israel was being wicked. It was going off. Verse 17, then I contended with the nobles of Judah and said unto them, what evil thing is this that ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? The Lord said, if y'all buying and partaking in these deeds and these acts, buying and selling with these other nations, and breaking the Lord's Sabbath day, hey, he said this is wicked. He said I'm going to read it again. Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 17. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah and said unto them, what evil thing is this that ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? So when you profane the Sabbath day, it's evil, meaning it's wicked. It's against the Most High God. It's not righteous. Verse 18, did not your fathers thus, and did not our God bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath. May the Lord will issue out his wrath just for one person breaking the Sabbath day. Right? He'll judge a whole nation for one person. So for breaking the Sabbath day, the Lord will issue out his wrath and judgment. Why? Because back in the ancient days, you were put to death. Right? Today, we still under the curses. All right? Lesson on that. So, no cooking, no buying and selling, no doing no work, no doing your own pleasures. Hey, the Sabbath day it's a holy day of rest. It's a day to abstain from all these acts that were committed 6 days throughout the week and rest on the 7th day. Didn't the Lord rest on the 7th day after all his creation? I'm going to get it right quick. This Genesis chapter 2 and verse 1. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. Hey, so the Lord rested on the 7th day. Aren't we supposed to be as the Lord? Aren't we supposed to be a reflection as men of Yahweh Shai, as Christ, the Son of God, who is a reflection of the Most High God? Hey, we're supposed to rest on the 7th day. All right. So, let me see if I got any precepts. Hey, so it's the times we're living in. You know, you so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you're God's chosen people. And the system that we live in is so corrupt, it has defiled your minds so much to the point where you're being evil and wicked and don't even know it. And that's also defined as being drunk. A lot of our people are drunk off the ways of this world and this wicked system, known as America. In reality, is Babylon the Great. So when it comes to the 7th day of the week, it's a day of rest. It's a holy day. And the Lord said to rest, to honor him, please him, glorify him. Hey, don't do your own pleasures. He gave you 6 days to do all that. So why not respect him just for one day? And it's just one day. You know what I'm saying? There's really no excuse. All right. All right, so I'll get one more. Jeremiah chapter 17. Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 21. Thus saith the Lord, take heed to yourselves and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem. Neither carry forth a burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day. Neither do ye any work, but hallow ye the Sabbath day, as I commanded your fathers. Okay, so this is a holy day. You're supposed to hallow it, meaning everything you do, it should honor and please the Most High God. And he said, bring no burden out of your houses. Hey, spiritually, well, physically, we know we're not supposed to do any work on the Shabbat. Spiritually, you shouldn't be bearing any burdens on the Sabbath. I mean, you shouldn't be arguing on the Sabbath. You shouldn't be confronting brothers about situations that can be dealt with after the Shabbat. I'm not saying you can't rebuke, but you shouldn't be bearing burdens on the Sabbath. You have 6 days to do that. Or you shouldn't be arguing on the Sabbath. All right? This is a day of rest and joy. All right? Hey, so Lord willing, that was edifying. You know, someone learned something from this. And, hey, keep the Shabbat and keep it holy. All right? So all glory, all praises, all honor to see how Shabbat Shalom. All right? Shabbat Shalom.